In the previous video, we left the Bahamas behind and sailed 400 miles back to the United States. I had a lot of deferred maintenance built up over my time in the Bahamas, and it was time to get to work on that. All right, well, I had to help Jennifer off at 5 in the morning this morning, so she had to catch her flight because she had to go do an event. Anyway, so I didn't film that at 5 in the morning. He was going to do that. All right, this is a note from editor Bobby in the future. Yes, I know my hair is long, sun bleached, and looks ridiculous. I got a haircut, okay? But back in the Bahamas, there's no barbers. Like the next day, I go get a haircut in the video. So sorry, it looks ridiculous, but go ahead, please grill me in the comments. I appreciate it, thank you. All right, back to the video. So getting ready to go, right? I'm not getting ready to go. I need to do some work on the boat before we get out of here. When I say we, I mean me, because it looks like right now it's going to be me solo to the Chesapeake. It's going to be 48, 50 hours up around Cape Hatteras. I know last time I rounded Cape Hatteras, things got a little bad. Here's a preview of that. I mean, it's just flat out here. This is perfect. This is why I was looking forward to this sail. And I figured I'd do it single-handed just because I think it's gonna be perfect conditions the whole time. Well, it's getting a little sporty out here. Wind's blowing 25 to 30. I've seen as much as 36. I think my transmission or my motor just blew up. This is a bad, bad night. I mean, this is gonna be, and it could get worse. And it could be a total loss. So yeah, that was not a fun time sailing solo. If you want to watch that video, by the way, there's a link down in the description. It's kind of a pay-per-view thing. It really helps me out. You can pay whatever you want to watch that video, but I'd recommend doing it. So down the link, I'll put a link to that down below. And it's a 40-minute video, and I document the whole thing. It was pretty scary event. So for the people that have watched it, I appreciate it. And then if you haven't seen it, check it out. You might like it. Completely different conditions now. I'll be downwind, and the weather's gonna be really nice. First thing I wanna do is I got a new fuel pump, because I have an electric fuel pump down there for the generator, but it wasn't working very well. It's kind of old, and it's really not looking good. But this is an Edelbrock. It's a really nice diesel electric fuel pump. And so the problem is with the generator, it's not been, so it's got to pull fuel a long way before it gets to the generator. There's no lift pump out of the fuel tanks, and so the generator will run for a while, then it'll shut off, and it's just been a pain. And the thing is, I rigged in like a little switch and to go to the electric fuel pump, but that's not ideal. Like the other day, I can smell some diesel in here, so I haven't opened this up to look and see how much it leaked diesel, but I left the fuel pump on. I got a switch down here, so I made a little switch where I can turn the fuel pump on and off, manually before I start the generator, and I forgot to turn it off the other day, and so I smell diesel in here, so I'm assuming it like maybe overpressurized a fuel line or something, and it leaked out a little diesel into the bilge, so I got to check that out and figure it out. But what I want to do is, so I got this fuel pump, and then I also got this relay. So it's just a 4-pin relay. The way it works is I send a line. It's a 5-pin relay. Okay, whatever. I got to look at the wiring diagram on it. But anyway, so I hooked this into a switch on the back of the generator. I put a wire from when the generator's running, or hit the start button, it'll send voltage to this, it'll send a signal to this relay telling it to open to let the power go to the fuel pump and turn on, and then when the generator shuts off, it'll stop that signal, and so then the fuel pump will shut off. That way I don't have to manually turn it on and off. It's just a lot better system. Hang on. Hey, what are you barking at?
Ball light open, and I was hoping I'd find a flame that burns just like you. Neon shadows across the dance floor.
I think Merlin wanted to play, and Cougar was not into it. So anyway, I got to clean all this crap out and then take up the floor so that I can get to work on working on this.
my sleep. You left me hanging on by a thread of them blue.
Now I need to use my multimeter here, and I have to go behind the panel. All right, that is the back side of my generator panel. And you see these lights right here. One of them's not in. So like when I turn it on, I'll turn it on, that light will come on. The light only comes on when the generator's on. If it shuts off, for some reason, either I turn it off or it shuts itself down, the lights go off. So what I'm gonna do is use that light as a signal to this relay. So then I'm gonna tap into that light, put another connector on there with another wire, run the wire. I might run everything inside here and have the relay mounted in here. So then I run the signal to this relay, and then the relay will close and allow the power to go through and turn on the pump, but I gotta wire it up first. Basically, you know, I put a little extension here and plumb that in, so I'll hook it up back here, and then I'll have this wire to run to the relay. I'm about ready to connect everything to the relay here. So I've got my 12 volt power to the pump. I've got, this is the switch from the generator. It's the power from the generator. And then I ran a ground also. So now I need to hook everything into the relay in the proper place. I had to look up a wiring diagram. You know, the thing came with a QR code, and I scanned the QR code and it didn't go to anything. But anyway, so I figured out, I looked it up online, got the wiring diagram, and so I'll connect it and then we'll try it. All right, so everything's connected to the relay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the generator, and then I'll go down and feel the water pump, not the water pump, the fuel pump that's already installed, and see if I can feel it vibrating, see if it's running, and then when it is, I'll just disconnect it, or shut off everything off, and then replace that fuel pump. So starting the generator. Fuel pump that's already here, and I can feel it pumping. Okay, all right. So I shut the generator down, and they make sure it's not pumping now. And it is off. Okay. So now I need to disconnect that fuel pump, connect the new one in, and then test everything out and see how it works. Well, so these little fuel pumps, they come with little inline fuel filters, but it's upstream of the fuel filters, so like it's gonna get clogged pretty quick because there's a lot of crap in there. But anyway, whatever, I gotta do it for now, and then I'll see if I can order one of these that doesn't have a filter. Okay, I've got it all hooked up now, and I can actually, when I hit the warm-up switch here, I can hear it, that pump coming on. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the generator, and then make sure it's not leaking or anything. Okay, I didn't hold it down long enough. All right, seems to be working. I don't have time to like, put a load on it, see how long it runs right now, because I gotta go to dinner here in 40 minutes. I still gotta get cleaned up. But I noticed that the fuel filter here is the generator fuel filter is full of shit on the bottom. So I'm gonna drain that out, prime it, and then I'll deal with all the rest of the stuff tomorrow, like buttoning everything up, but I gotta get moving. So that's just shitty, nasty water. And then when I drained it all out, there was no fuel in that fuel filter. So it's filling up now with fuel. I'm thinking maybe that fuel filter is just bad. That was part of the reason I was having issues. So I'm gonna have to change that fuel filter again, because I mean, it got filled up with all this crap. Anyway, I gotta buckle all this up because I gotta go. So I'll finish it tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, back at work today. I still gotta button all this up, but I need to mount the relay and everything solidly. I want to get back under the engine bay later today and check the oils and all that, and then I gotta still fine tune the fuel system there, because I want to change the fuel filter too, but I need to go get a new one. So because that fuel filter looked pretty nasty, so, and there's a lot of crap in it, so I want to check all that. But I think I got that mostly working now. But one thing I definitely have to do before I move, so this exhaust elbow right back here, it was leaking. The way marine motors work is it takes raw seawater and pumps that through a heat exchanger, which cools off the coolant, which then goes and cools the engine, right? Well, the warm water gets kind of put out with the exhaust. And so this is kind of the mixing elbow for the exhaust and the water. And luckily it was leaking, but it was the water side of things, not the exhaust. So the cabin wasn't filling up with carbon monoxide, but it was spraying water in the cabin, which would make its way down into the bilge. And it was getting the floors wet and everything. But anyway, I have to pull this hose out and go get another one and replace it. I don't know how difficult that's gonna be. Hopefully not too bad.
Baby, now I'm wondering where it all went wrong. You got me hanging on to some Jack and some Jim Beam, trying hard as hell just to get you gone. But it's taking too long for this heartache to give up. Now I can't get up.
So, you know, this exhaust hose is reinforced with steel. And I mean, these hoses, they get, you know, especially the ones that are hot like that, they end up like melting to the metal and they're really hard to get off. So basically, a lot of times you just have to cut them off like I do now. So, but the problem is with those steel reinforcements, I have to clip each one of those with this, the side cutters, and it's not exactly easy to do. But I got it off the top there now, for the most part. I'm hoping I can wiggle it off the bottom since I get some leverage, but we'll see.
You left me hanging on by a thread of them blue jeans, baby. Now I'm wondering where it all went wrong. You got me hanging on.
I got the top 3/4 out, but I still got the bottom part down there, but it's a much more manageable size now. So, I mean, I had to cut it in half and then cut the little metal reinforcements, and then maybe I can twist this thing off the bottom. You can see here where this exhaust hose just split and was leaking exhaust. There we go. Oh, well, yeah, that's the blowout part right here. That's where it was leaking, right here and here. And it was getting kind of rotten here, like this was just falling apart. Like I ripped that with my hands, so it was time for a new one. All right, so I got the whole thing out and I measured it. I got to go to West Marine. I don't even know if they carry that kind of stuff at West Marine. Hopefully they do. If not, they'll be able to point me in a direction where I can get it. I got to get a couple other things at West Marine, and then we'll come back and finish working on it. All right, I'm back. I got my hose here, so now I'm just gonna cut it to the right size and install it, and then give everything a test run and make sure I'm not leaking anything. What the heck? Wow. They make them a little tougher now. Huh, well there's no like, it's the same stuff, there's just no wire in this. I think it'll be all right though. I mean, it's not under a lot of pressure. And if anything, the metal wire is what caused it to fail, because that started corroding. You can see like the steel in there got wet, right? And then it started corroding. So that's what caused this whole thing to fail. All right, I cleaned both elbows there, washed them off, got all the dirt off, so you know, the grime, so that hopefully this pipe will slide on there a little easier. And now I'm gonna get dish soap and put it on the inside of this and on that so that it slides a little better, because these things are gonna, it's always hard to fit it. All right, I got it in there. I'll put the clamps on it, get it down, and then do a test run, make sure it's not leaking. I'm gonna go start the motor and make sure it's not leaking. All right, it's not leaking. Let me make sure that there's water coming out the back, and I'll give it a little RPM to up the pressure a little. Shut the motor off because I don't want it to get hot because I'm gonna change the oil. I need all the oil to drain down to the bottom anyway, so. All right, I got the floor opened up here and I'm gonna do a couple things. I am going to change the oil on the motor and change the oil filter and all that. I'm also gonna change the fuel filter because the other one looked pretty gunked up. For oil stuff, you know, you can get like the pumps that use a drill and you can like pump the oil out, but I found the best one. It takes up a little more space. That's the only thing, is these oil extractors right here. Now you gotta find a place to store it and it stays gross, whereas the little pump driven ones, like you hook it up to a drill and it works just fine. But you have to sit there and drill it the whole time, whereas like with this, I can just sit there and just let it do its thing while I'm doing something else. But you just, it's got a little chamber here. It's got a vacuum pump on it, like a manual pump. And you just stick one of these down into the dipstick where the tube is, down at the very bottom of the oil pan, and just suck all the oil out. Obviously, the better way to do it would be to like take the screw out of the bottom of the oil pan, but you can't get at the bottom of these engines. That's why they design these things. So the oil filter for the engine is, I mean, I don't remember it, whatever. It's mounted like vertical, but like filter down. So like, I normally like to pre-fill the filters before putting them on there, but you can't really do that because like you just dump all the oil everywhere. I mean, I get it, the fuel oil pump, I mean, everything's still technically oiled in there, but you know, it'll just be an extra second or two until oil starts circulating through. I don't know, maybe. Okay, I have my new water fuel filter in, and then this fitting, I saw a little, you know, diesel on it because we had pulled this fitting off last time to get at the oil filter, fuel filter, but and it was a little bit of diesel on it, so I took it off, put some more Teflon tape, and put it back in, and then I'm ready to hook everything back up and, you know, prime that, you know, fill up the pump, fill up the filter. So this it's like the vent for the top of the fuel filter, and when I pulled it off, you can see the O-ring in there was chewed up. So I'm gonna pull this O-ring off, and I got an O-ring kit here with like, you know, 1 million O-rings. So I'll find one that fits it. It is officially beer 30, so I got to drink the last of my Bahamian beer. And now I need to finish doing the oil change, and we should be good to go. Oh, hopefully my fuel nipple has been delivered to the box, but I'll check it. And this is what I get for not paying attention. Oh no, son of a bitch. God. So now I'm going to change the oil filter. Just don't like where it's at there. It's upside down. It makes me feel like, I mean, I'm assuming all the oil drains out of it like after a while, and so it's not full of oil, but it's just going to be hard to, hopefully I don't spill oil everywhere. Now I'm going to write the date on here on the new filter before putting it in, and then also the hours on the engine, although I'm having to replace I think the engine has around 5,000 hours on it right now, but the thing has stopped working, so I've got another one. So I think I'm just going to like put a new hour meter on there and just put a note in the whatever the records say, it's whatever that says plus 5,000. But anyway, so putting that on here. But you know, I watched a video the other day, I forget what it was. The guy was like, it was some kind of oil change video, and it was like, does really filling your oil, you know, make a difference? And the guy got like some kind of engine, he's looking at wear on the engine and particulate and all that, so he did like 20 oil changes without filling this, and then 20 with. I mean, like, you know, he'd run the thing for like 100 hours, just like whatever, I don't know, he spent a lot of time doing it, and I think realistically it didn't make much of a difference, like having these filled with oil before you put them in and all that. But the way this one, there was no oil in that one anyway, because it's sitting there mounted upside down. So, but he said it was no difference. But does he still fill his thing before putting it in there? Yes. So I don't know. But anyway, so, but what you should do is put a little oil around the ring right here to get it kind of wet, so it seals really well and doesn't, like, when you screw it in, it doesn't like tear. And I'll put that in, and then I think I saw my oil extractor like taking air, so I think all the oil's out pretty much, and I'll put oil in it and give everything a test run. It should be good to go. So I always keep a couple of these extra empty so that I can do, like, I had some empty ones so I could put the used oil in there and still have room for my extractor. So all I've got left to do here, you can see this remote panel down here. So I'm just gonna turn the power on and hit start. Got oil pressure coming up. There's no leaks. I think we're good to go.